Hello students, welcome to our channel SD Biology classes. In my last video, I have discussed about Bryophyta. Students, today I am going to show you a new thing. Please observe it. Have you seen this type of plants around you? It is scientifically called as Cristella. Another type of plants I am going to show you. This is also another type of plants that you can see near the moist shady places, and scientifically it is called as Pteris longifolia. Here we have another plant, but it is quite different from the plants that we can see like mango plant or other angiosperm type of plants. So this type of plants have you seen around you? Yes, you have seen this type of plants around you. But can you observe the flower on these plants? We have not seen any type of flowering structure on these plants. So this group of plants commonly known as the fern. Today we are going to discuss about this group of plants that is called as the Pteridophyta. So students, today our learning objectives are: what is pteridology? What are the general features of Pteridophyta? What are the classes of Pteridophyta? And also we will learn about the life cycle of Pteridophyta. So let's start it. So students, what is Pteridology? The branch of biology that deals with pteridophytes, or the branch of biology from which we can know about pteridophytes or Pteridophyta, that is called as Pteridology. The term Pteridophyta was proposed by Haeckel. It is commonly known as the vascular cryptogams because in Pteridophyta, or the Pteridophyta are the first land plants where we can see the vascular tissue. So it is also called as the first vascular plant, as well as it is also called as the vascular cryptogams. They have xylem and phloem tissue, but remember that the xylem tissue do not have the vessels and the phloem tissue do not have the companion cell that we can see usually in case of the angiospermic plant. They are also called as the first successful terrestrial plants because they have vascular tissue as well as they have true root-like structure. In the same time, they are also called as the not completely successful land plants because they also need water for fertilization. Like Bryophyta, Pteridophyta also need water for fertilization. That is why they are called as the not completely successful land plants or not completely successful terrestrial plants. So remember these informations about Pteridophyta. Now we are going to know about the general features or the characteristic features of Pteridophyta. Where can you see the pteridophytes around you? Like Bryophyta, Pteridophyta are also growing in the moist shady places. And the main plant body, that means the plant body that we can see in around us, that type of plant body is sporophytic plant body. That means each and every cell of the plant body having 12 number of chromosomes. Now, in case of Pteridophyta, the plant body is divided into root, stem and leaf-like structure. Usually we can see the adventitious type of root. In case of Pteridophyta, we can see adventitious type of root. The stem can be erect, that means it can grow straight, or it can be prostrate also. That means what is the meaning of the prostrate? Prostrate means the stem runs along the surface of the soil. Sometimes the stem remain under the soil also, and in that case it is called as the rhizome. Now the important part, that is the leaf. In case of Pteridophyta, we can see three types of leaf. generally we can see three types of leaf. What are those? Cataphyll. Sometimes in some Pteridophyta, the stem is covered with some scale leaves. The scale leaves are called as the cataphyll. And another two types of leaf we can see that are called as the trophophylls and sporophylls. Trophophyle and sporophyll. So the leaves are of three types: cataphyll, the scale leaves which have simple membranous structure. The stem of the Pteridophyta are covered with simple membranous leafy structure, that is called as the cataphyll, or commonly it is called as scale leaves. In some other types of Pteridophyta like Lycopodium, Selaginella, the whole body is covered by green color photosynthetically leaf or green color photosynthetic leaf. Those leaves which help in photosynthesis, those are called as the trophophyle. And another type of leaf like structure that bears the spore, those are called as the sporophylls. So in case of Pteridophyta, three different types of leaves can be seen in the same plant body. Now we are going to discuss about the asexual reproductive structure. The asexual reproduction occurs by the spores. In Pteridophyta, the asexual reproduction occurs by the production of the spores. Spores are formed due to meiosis cell division within the sporangia. Now, spores can be produced within the sporophyll in the form of cone-like structure or in the form of sporocarp. Sporocarp is a hard stony structure, or in the form of sorus. We can see this cone-like structure in case of Equisetum, we can see the sporocarp-like structure in case of Marsilia, and we can see the sorus-like structure in case of Drypteris. And sometimes sporophylls only arranged close to each other. They do not make any cone-like structure. Only the sporophylls arranged very close to each other, and this type of structure we can see in case of Lycopodium. Now we will talk about the spores. What are the type of spores produced in the Pteridophyta? In case of Pteridophyta, we can see that some of the species of Pteridophyta produce simply one type of spore, and that type of pteridophytes are called as the homosporous pteridophyte. So when the pteridophytes produce simply one type of spores, then they are called as the homosporous pteridophyte. Whereas sometimes some of the pteridophytes produce two different types of spores. Some of the spores are smaller in size, they are called as the microspores, and some spores are larger in size, they are called as the megaspores or macrospores. So those type of pteridophytes are called as the heterosporous pteridophyte. And the example of heterosporous pteridophyte is Selaginella. And the example of homosporous pteridophyte is Equisetum. So from here we can see that asexual reproduction occurs by the spores. The pteridophytes can produce similar type of spores. They are called as the homosporous pteridophyte, and sometimes they can produce two different types of spores. In some member of the Pteridophyta like Selaginella, we can see they produce two different types of spores, and that type of pteridophytes are called as the heterosporous pteridophyta, and this phenomena is called as the heterospory. Now the sexual reproduction occurs in Pteridophyta is oogamous type of sexual reproduction. That means the fusion between two dissimilar structure gametes occur, and one of the gamete is flagellated, another one is larger in size and non-flagellated. In Pteridophyta, we can see the gametophytic structure that developed due to the germination of the spore on the soil. The gametophytic structure of the Pteridophyta is called as the prothallus, and that is independent. That means most of the cases that grow on the soil, and sometimes it can grow on the spore wall also. So the gametophytic structure of the Pteridophyta is called as the prothallus. When we discuss the life cycle of the Pteridophyta, we will know more about this structure in details. Students, now we will discuss about the life cycle of Pteridophyta. We have seen that in Pteridophyta, two different types of Pteridophyta depending on the spores that they produce. Some of the members are called as the homosporous pteridophyte and some of them are called as the heterosporous pteridophyta. Now we can see two different types of life cycle due to presence of these two different types of spores. First of all, we will discuss about the homosporous pteridophyta. So first of all, we will discuss the life cycle of the homosporous pteridophyta. The main plant body of Pteridophyta is sporophytic plant body. That have 12 number of chromosome. By meiosis cell division within the sporangia, the spore mother cells within the sporangia undergoes meiosis cell division. As a result, it produces spores, which are haploid or which having haploid number of chromosome. The spores germinate in the soil and gives rise to the gametophytic structure. That also having n number of chromosome. The gametophyte is also called as the prothallus. As it is produced by the homosporous type of Pteridophyta, that means simple or one type of spores are produced. So the gametophyte is also having the same reproductive structure in the same thallus. That is, the prothallus having the male and the female reproductive structure in the same thallus. So the gametophyte which is produced by the germination of the homospores, they bear the antheridium, that is the male reproductive structure, and the archegonium, that is the female reproductive structure in the same prothallus or in the same gametophytic thallus. Now the archegonium produces the egg cell, that is the female reproductive cell, and the antheridium produce the antherozoids. Remember that here the antherozoids are multiflagellated. Multiflagellated antherozoids are produced from within the antheridium. Now fusion of this egg cell and the antherozoids occur, and the process of fertilization or process of fusion is called as the zooidiogamy, as we can see in case of the Bryophyta also. So by the process of zooidiogamy, that is by the help of the water, the multiflagellated antherozoid come and fuse to the egg cell. As a result, zygote is formed having 12 number of chromosome. Zygote divides and give rise to the embryo, and the embryo again gives rise to the sporophytic plant body. This is the life cycle of the homosporous type of Pteridophyta, where we can see the clear alternation of generation. So this phase is the sporophytic phase, and rest of the space, this phase is the gametophytic phase. So So this type of life cycle we can see in case of the homosporous pteridophyta. So students, now we will discuss about the life cycle of the heterosporous pteridophyta. Before we start the life cycle of the heterosporous pteridophyta, from the name we can understand that here two different types of spores are produced. Like the small size spores are called as the microspores, and the spores which are larger in size, they are called as the macrospores. If we cut the section of the strobilus or the cone, we can see this type of structure. In the same cone, these are the sporophylls. If the sporophylls bear the sporangia that contain microspores, then the sporophyll is called as the microsporophyll, and the sporangia is called as the microsporangia, and the spores, small size spores, are called as the microspores. In the same cone, larger size spores are also produced. So these are the macrospores or the megaspores which are produced within the macrosporangia, and the macrosporangia bearing leaf is called as the macrosporophyll. So in this way, the spores are produced within the plant body of the pteridophyta, heterosporous type of pteridophyta. Now we will discuss about the life cycle of the heterosporous pteridophyta. So here also the main plant body is sporophytic plant body having 2n number of chromosome. They can produce two different types of spores. Simply by the process of meiosis cell division, two different types of spores are produced. So the microspores as well as they produce the macrospores or the megaspores. Microspores germinate and give rise to the male gametophytic thallus. The microspores germinate and give rise to male gametophytic thallus, whereas the macrospores germinate and give rise to the female gametophytic thallus. Now within the male gametophytic thallus, antheridium are formed. Antheridium produce multiflagellated antherozoids, and the female, within the female gametophyte, the archegonium is there that produce the egg cell. The multiflagellated antherozoids come and fuse to the egg cell. As a result, zygote is formed, that is 2n or diploid in number. Zygote divides, gives rise to the embryo, and from the embryo the sporophytic plant body is formed again. So here again we can see the gametophytic structure that is also called as the prothallus. So this is the life cycle of the heterosporous type of pteridophyta, where also we can see the alternation of generation, and the life cycle of pteridophyta is diplohaplontic life cycle. Diplohaplontic life cycle. So why diplohaplontic life cycle? Because the dominating phase is the diploid phase, that is sporophytic phase, and later on we can see the haplontic phase. That's why it is called as the diplohaplontic type of life cycle. So here we have discussed about the life cycle in the pteridophyta. So students, now we are in the assignment part of this video. Here some questions are given, like what is pteridology, what is prothallus, answer you will get from the lesson. Give example of macrophylus and microphylus pteridophyta. Macrophylus and microphylus pteridophyta. Here I will show you the example of the macrophylus and microphylus pteridophyta. You can understand it very well. Microphylus, micro means small. So what is microphylus pteridophyta? The pteridophyta where the stem is larger in size but the leaves are very small in size. You can see here the leaves are very small in size. That type of pteridophyta are called as the microphylus pteridophyta. The example is Lycopodium, and Selaginella or is also the example of the microphylus pteridophyta. Now students, what is macrophylus pteridophyta? Macro means where the, or that is larger in size. So where the stem is shorter and leaves are larger in size, that type of pteridophyta are called as the macrophylus pteridophyta. Okay, so this is the example of the macrophylus pteridophyta. It is the herbarium sheet of Cristella dentata. Another examples of macrophylus pteridophyta are the pteris. So students, here you get the idea of macrophylus and microphylus pteridophyta, and also you can see their examples. Now another two more questions are given here, that is the draw the life cycle of pteridophyta and what is heterospory. So all the answer you will get from this lesson. I hope that you can give the answer. So from today's lesson, today's video, we have learned about the general features of pteridophyta, and also we have learned the life cycle of pteridophyta. In the next video, we will know about the different classes of pteridophyta, and we will do it with the specimen and with the herbarium sheet of the pteridophyta. So if you like my videos, subscribe my channel to get the update of my new videos. Thank you.